Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nirali Vaghela. Today, me and my co-presenter are going to present the novel Revolution 2020 by Chetan Bhagat. These are the table of content. Key facts of the novel. Full title of the novel Revolution 2020: Love, Corruption and Ambition. Author of the novel is Chetan Bhagat. Type of the work is novel. Genre is contemporary fiction, romance, social and political critics. Language is English. Time and place written late 2000 India. Date of the first publication 2011. Publishers Rupa Publication India. Narrator Gopal Mishra. Point of the view: first person narrative. Tense past tense. Tone of the novel: confessional, realistic, emotional, critical of social corruption. Setting of the novel: Varanasi and Delhi. Then the brief overview of the author. He was born in New Delhi. Education BTech in Mechanical Engineering IIT Delhi, MBA in IIM Ahmedabad. In career, former investment banker at Goldman Sachs, later a full-time writer, columnist and motivational speaker. Writing style of Chetan Bhagat is simple, conversational prose that captures Indian youth, middle class aspirations, romance, ambition, and contemporary social issues. Then his major fictional and non-fictional works. The novel, first novel, 5 Point Someone. Second, One Night at the Call Center. Then, third, The Three Mistakes of My Life. Fourth, Two States. Fifth, Revolution 2020. Sixth, Half Girlfriend. Seventh, One Indian Girl. Eighth, The Girl in Room 105. Ninth, One Arranged Murder. 10th, 400 Days. Non-fictional work of his is What Young Indian Wants, then Making India Awesome, then India Positive. Then some of his movie adaptation are Three Idiot, Hello, Kai Poche, Two State, and Half Girlfriend. Then book cover of Revolution 2020, color symbolism. The black, white and red palette represents the clash between corruption, idealism and the passion or danger of the revolution. The big 2020, this oversized number refers Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's vision for a developed India, but the gritty font suggests that this vision has been compromised. Then the three pillars, the tagline Love, Corruption and Ambition summarize the entire plot. A love triangle set against the backdrop of a corrupt education system and the personal drive to succeed. Then urban silhouette, this often featuring a view of Varanasi. It highlights the small town setting, showing young people looking out at the world they want to change or conquer. Then historical background, the anti-corruption movement. The book was released in 2011 during the peak of the Anna Hazare protest. It mirrored the national anger toward scams and political bribery. Then the education as a business. It highlights the transition of Indian education from the service to a profit-driven industry, focusing on the coaching culture of cities like Kota and the rise of a private college built on political clout. Then, challenging vision of 2020. The title plays on Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's dream of India becoming a developed nation by 2020, questioning if that is possible without first fixing the country's moral foundation. Then, small town reality. By setting the story in Varanasi, Bhagat captured the struggle of the new India middle class, ambitious youth in smaller cities trying to navigate a system where who you know often matters more than what you know. Here's my learning outcomes. Now I understood the impact of corruption on society and individuals. then explain how small choice can lead to major life changes. Then learn that personal growth comes from facing challenges and failures. Then emphasize the importance of the transparency for a fair system. Then realize the importance of understanding consequences before acting. This is from my side. Now I would like to invite Kumkum Hirani for further information.
Thank you, Nirali, for providing background and for the further information like narrative structure. The narrative structure and the technology. First of all, in this slide, like focusing on Chetan Bhagat's manipulate time in a Revolution 2020 using Gerald's concept of order and duration. How the narrative manipulates the time, like anarchonologic structure, like Revolution 2020 follows a non-linear retrospective narratives. Gopal narrates his life story from the position of present success, frequently moving back and forth in time. So here are in the novel Revolution 2020, Chetan Bhagat followed the basically non-linear structure, and moving to the past, present to the past. Here the flashbacks, like the narrative repeatedly shift to significant past phase of Gopal's life, including school days in Varanasi, 1996 to 1907, like academic struggle during ZEE IEEE preparation in Kota. Time comparison. So narrative time. The framing situation, Gopal narrating his story to Chetan Bhagat, takes place over approximately 24 hours. So in the narration, like Gopal was the main character, and he himself tell the story of the author, and discourse is time, like the event narrator spent nearby 16 years tracing Gopal's life from age 10 to 26. Narrative voice and framing, like who tells the story from where. So homodygenic narrative, like Gopal is a first person narrative who tells his own life story, making him an eternal participant in the narrative. So basically Gopal was the first person narrator. Intradiegetic narrator, like since Gopal narrates events from the within the story world to another character, the narration operates in intradiegetic level. Extradiegetic frame, like the prologue and the epilogue functions the outside the main story. Chetan Bhagat appears as a listener and a frame narrator, like creating an extra layer of narration. Perspective, like focalization. The narrative is internally focalized, meaning events are filtered through the Gopal's personal emotion, thoughts, and moral conflict. Narrative frequency and a mood, focusing on the repetition, emphasizes an emotion tone. Narrative frequency, like singular, the one-time events narrate once, such as the death of Gopal's father. Iterative, repetition action narrated once to represent a routine, such as a daily struggle during the quota coaching. Repetitive, the event that occurred that but are narrated multiple times, especially Gopal's recurring reflection on his love for Aarti. Narrative mood, distant, the narration is intimate and emotionally close, focusing on ambition, guilt, success, and the moral dilemmas. Limited viewpoints, like the story privilege Gopal's perspective, making others' character like Raghav and Aarti visible only through his biased lens. Speech technique, the novel blends narrated speech, like Gopal's inner reflection, with reported speech, like a dialogue, allowing smooth progression of the plot. Here are the all the things which are here, like order in non-linear storytelling, like a flashback to the present time, singular to iterative representative. So here are infographics of the narrative technique. For the further information about the character and plot overview, I would like to invite Khushi Ravya, and for the further information of the themes, then I deal with that.
Thank you, Kumkum, for providing background. These are the characters. Main Chetan Bhagat author is also one character in the novel, as Kumkum mentioned. Chetan Bhagat is a motivational speaker and author, and Chetan Bhagat meets Gopal Mishra at Tilak Hall, Varanasi, when Chetan Bhagat came for motivational speech, and Gopal appears emotionally disturbed and burdened by guilt, and he requests Chetan Bhagat to listen his life's story, and Chetan Bhagat visit Gopal's home and learning about his background, and after in hospital, Gopal narrates his complete past, and the novel unfolds as Gopal's confession recorded by the author, and the story then shifts into a detailed flashback. Second one is Gopal Mishra, protagonist, and his background is a poor lower middle class boy from Varanasi, and his mother died earlier, and his personality is initially innocent and hardworking because ambitious and morally compromised, and his character arc is transforms from naive student to corrupt college director to self-aware individual, and his key quote is stupid people go to college and smart people own them. So his inner conflict is a desire for success versus morality, integrity, and love for arti versus what's right, and third one is Raghav Kashyap, Italian from BHEL engineers family, and his personality is idealistic, passionate about journalism and social change, and his role is a foil of Gopal and represents integrity and activism. And his achievement is he starts a Revolution 2020 newspaper to fight corruption. His key quote is everyone has to do their bit for change, we need a revolution. This is an infographic of both the characters comparison. Here is Gopal Mishra and here is Raghav Kashyap. Gopal Mishra has ambitions of wealth and wealth at any cost, and Raghav Kashyap ambition is a revolution against system, and Gopal builds an empire on bravery, and Raghav exposes scams and faces backlash. Arti Pratap Pradhan, her background is a daughter of a district magistrate and granddaughter of a former chief minister, and her personality is kind, caring, beautiful, and conflicted, and her role is a love interest for both Gopal and Raghav, and is represent moral compass, and her dream initially dream is want to be an air hostess, but she settles for a hotel job, and his key trait is struggles between comfort, security, and passion, purpose, and other one is MLA Ramanlal Shukla. It's a Gopal's mentor and business partner, and who is a corrupt politician and pragmatic and manipulative. And function is represent the corrupt system, enables Gopal's success, and fate is imprisoned after Raghav's exposed. Gopal's father, named Baba. Background is a retired school teacher and ill with respiratory problems, and his role is represents traditional values and father's expectations, and significance. His death and dreams drive Gopal's ambitions. These are other characters. Plot overview. In childhood is 1996 to 1997. In this school, Gopal Raghav ne Aarti meet in 5th standard, and Gopal eat Aarti's cake, and after that is the situation, their friendship build, and Gopal steals Aarti's cake, and their friendship starts by there. And as I mentioned earlier, its story starts in hospital. Gopal said to these all the things to Chetan Bhagat, and from this their strong bond forms between their three, and after teenage years, 2003 to 2004, they are join JSR coaching for engineering exams, and Raghav excels in studies, but Gopal struggles more, and Aarti becomes important for both boys. Quota experience. Gopals go to Kota for IIT JEE preparation, and he fails despite of his hard work, and his father's death leaves him emotionally broken. His father also always said him and always say to Gopal to go for JEE and all this examination. After he fails, his father feel so sad for it, and his family falls into financial debt. And here is a turning point when Gopal meets MLA Shukla and at a career fair, and he got partnership with Shukla to open a Ganga Tech college, and college built on a dispute of a family land, and Gopal learns corrupt practices in education. Here is a rise of Gopal, because Gopal becomes a successful college director and gains money, power, and social status, and loses moral clarity and pursuit of success. And rise of Raghav is different, because of Raghav becomes an investigative journalist and starts newspaper Revolution 2020, and writes against corruption and politics, and believes youth can change India. Love triangle. Here is a love triangle coming, and Aarti is emotionally connected to both, and Gopal and Aarti begins a cigarette affair, and Aarti admires Raghav's honesty, and emotional conflict increases. And major conflict is Raghav exposes Ganga Action Plan scam, and MLA Shukla is implicated, and Gopal's college and future are threatened, and friendship turns into rivalry. In the climax, Gopal realizes money cannot buy love, and understand corruption has cost him happiness, and faces a moral awakening. And it's quote from a novel: sometimes life isn't about what you want to do, but what you ought to do. In the resolution, Gopal accept his mistake, and Gopal steps aside for Raghav and Aarti, and Aarti marries with Raghav, and Gopal commits to reforming his college, and begins his inner revolution. And the message of novel is a corruption destroy relationship, ambition without ethics is hollow, and true revolution begins within. And youth must choose value over greed. This is the infographics of plot summary. This is academic divide. This is from childhood bonds in Varanasi, and the academic divide, quota breaking point, um, corruption turning point, and director versus journalist, and emotional triangle, love triangle, and Ganga action plan scam, and the ultimate sacrifice, and ethics over ambitions, and the true revolution. Here are my learning outcomes. I recognized how unchecked ambition can slowly corrupt one's value and push a person away from honesty and compassion. And I reflect on how corruption is not just a political issue but a force that deeply damages friendships, families, and love. And I recognized how easily moral compromises begin small but grow into life alerting decisions. I appreciate the importance of integrity and courage in standing up against a flawed system, even when the cost of personal loss. And I came to see that a true revolution does not begin in politics or protests, but within one's own conscience. I appreciate the value of self realization and acceptance as the first step toward personal reform. So, this is from my side. For further information, I would like to invite Kumkum.
So thank you, Khushi. Here I deal with the themes like first theme was a theme of corruption. So also Khushi mentioned in the plot overview that how Gopal become corrupt. So corruption is portrayed as a pervades social reality in contemporary India, especially in education, politics, and India. So here are the Chetan Bhagat's novel Revolution 2020 also shows that reality of the society, that how in education people now become are corrupt. So Gopal's failure in comparative exams leads him to embrace corruption as a mean of survival, as a upward mobility. With the support of Girish Bedi and MLA Shuklaji, Gopal established a private engineering college using bribery and the black money. Also, Chetan Bhagat shows that many times students are fail, and after that they want to become successful, so they can do whatever for the success, even the corrupt. In the contrast, Raghav actively resists the corruption through the journalism, exposing political and the educational scams. Raghav's ethical stance results in a professional loss, financial instability, and violence, highlighting the cost of integrity. The novel critiques a system that rewards dishonesty and punishes honesty. Through the Gopal and Raghav, Chetan Bhagat represent the corruption as a moral dilemma rather than a personal flaw, raising question about the survival versus ethics. Second theme was ambition, the wealth versus social responsibility. Ambition drives the narrative and sharply divided the path of Gopal and Raghav. Gopal's ambition is materialistic, aimed at wealth, power, and social status after a repeated academic failure. Raghav's ambition is idealistic, focusing on social reform, justice, and systematic change through the journalism. While Gopal achieves outward success, he suffers inner emptiness and moral disintegration. Also, Khushi mentioned that how Gopal was a successful man, but in some way he not find that inner peace which Raghav find. So Raghav, through the economically unstable, retains moral clarity and purpose. The novel contrasts self-centered ambition with ethical ambition, questioning dominant social definition of the success. Like ambition is shown intersect with love and corruption, shaping both personal relationship and the social outcomes. Third one was a theme of revolution, idealism, youth, and commodification. Like theme of revolution is embodies in Raghav, who dreams of a great Indian revolution by 2020. Raghav believes revolution must begin at the grassrooted level, especially in the small cities like Varanasi. His newspaper, like Revolution 2020, become a tool to expose corruption and thus mobilize public awareness. However, the novel critiques the disillusion of revolutionary ideas as a personal drama, and the romance overshadow political changes. Revolution is a metaphorical lead to IPL-style commodification, like where serious ideas are reduced to the spectacle. The novel questions whether genuine revolution is possible in a society driven by profit, power, and personal ambition. While Raghav represents hope, the narrative ultimately exposes the fragility of revolutionary zeal. Education system, commercialization, and the inequality. Represent the Indian education system as a deeply flawed, as a corrupt. Competitive exam like JEE and AIEEE become a symbol of extreme pressure and social inequality. Gopal repeated failure expose how the system marginalized the student from economically weak backgrounds. The established to private engineering college through the bribery highlights the commercialization of education. Education is shown not as a mean of learning but as a profit-making enterprise controlled by the political power. Like media and journalism. Journalism emerged as a curriculum theme through the Raghav's career. Raghav uses newspaper like Dainik and later Revolution 2020 to expose corruption. The media is a portrait as a both tool of resistance and the site suppression. Raghav faces misaltreatment and the violence, showing how truth-telling journalism is punished. Political force manipulate media institution to silent dissertation. The novel highlights the fragile position of independent journalism in a corrupt democracy. It raises questions about freedom of expression and ethical responsibility. Here are minor themes. Here are the infography of the themes, like how two parts in the revolution 2020, how two parts are shown, like ambition and idealism. Here the Gopal, the path of corruption, like ambition to make money, method and outcome. Like he become a materialistic successful, and at the end he fails in the moral failure. And the second one was the Raghav, who is a path of revolution, like he's shown as a like ambitions, start a revolution. His method of fighting system, like he started his own newspaper, and his outcome was like he won that victory in the society. So yeah, this is about that. And here learning outcome, like understand how corruption operate at different level of society, especially in education, politics and media. Learns that moral choice strongly influence personal relationship and life's outcome. Like realize that ambition without ethics lead to inner dissatisfaction despite the material success. Understand that true love involves sacrifice, responsibility and ethical awareness. Recognize that challenges faced by individuals who try to bring social or political changes. Gain awareness to the risk and limitations of honesty journalism in a corrupt society. So thank you. This is from my side, and for the further information I would like to invite Nikita Wala. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Nikita Wala. Today I am dealing with the symbolism and motifs. So first we see the Ganga river is a symbol, is a purity versus pollution, and the holy river that people come to for spiritual cleansing becomes literally polluted through the savage and irony is Varanasi, the city of cleansing, is where Shukla dump untreated sewage back to the Ganga, and a moral symbolism is that just as the river is corrupted, so are the idea of purity, honesty, and spirituality in Indian society. And in the children suffering in the Ganga river, the village children dying from sewage contaminated water represent innocent victim of corruptions. And second symbol is the revolution in the pink newspaper. The color significance in the pink color unusual for newspaper make it stand out different, bold, and revolutionary. Fragility is easily destroyed by thugs, and limited circulations show how vulnerable truth teller are. Format irony is a revolutionary content on one side, matrimonial ads on the other, and idealism must compromise with the practicality to survive. And voice of dissent, the only platform speaking truth to power in a compromised media landscape. So third one is the black Mercedes. The status symbol represents Gopal's material success and entry into the elite class. Trend gift given by Shukla, so funded by corruptions, success built on compromise foundations. What he wanted to show Raghav, the key in his pocket symbolize his need to prove superiorities. And emptiness, despite the luxury car and house, Gopal remains profoundly lonely. So fourth one is the scrapbook, which one given by Aarti. So innocence preserved, Aarti's handmade gift represent a genius love untainted by materialism. In the nostalgia is the photos from birthdays show simpler, plural times before corruptions and compromise. G and A. So the G means Gopal and A are Aarti. The coupling that could have been the alternate life Gopal's sacrifice. Contracts is this handmade versus the expensive call girls. Authentic love versus commodified relationship. So five symbol is the quota, the coaching city, the factory metaphors, the mass productions of engineering aspirants, dehumanizing the process. So, in the death, Manoj Datta's suicide in the room, the ultimate prize of failures in the system. False hope here promises transformation, but often deliver deeper despair. In the national obsessions, the represent India's fixations on engineering and medicine as only path to success. And the additional symbol like a chocolate cake in the first connection between Gopal and Aarti, stealing it their relationship foundation in the need distractions in the board rights. So private space away from society's rule and judgment. And Keshav, the dying child, Gopal's conscious, the innocent self he killed to survive. And the bungalows, empty mansions symbolize the hollow success. So here is the infography, and the motives are: the first is bribes and involves repeated throughout VAVNN, AICTE, university, school principals and HR managers. Shows corruption is systemic, not individual. So normalizations is the characters discuss bribe amounts casually like business negotiations. Another thing is examinations, AIEEE, G and Bansal's entrance and career fairs. Life is constant testing and ranking. Pass fail binary determining worth. And Gopal's entire self worth tied to test scores. Another thing is phones and communication, miscalled at late night by Aarti, unanswered calls, strategy, silence, SMS with ambiguous meanings. So communication breakdowns, parallel relationship breakdowns, and technology create a distance as much as connections. Another thing is alcohol. Gopal's drinking sessions, Shukla's whiskey, hospital, and wedding night. Loss of control and truth telling, celebration turning to despair, expensive whiskey, and sophisticated corruptions. Hierarchy and class, sitting arrangement, Gopal in a back row to director chair, and cars means in the scooters versus Mercedes, and housing, small flat to bungalows, and constant comparison and status anxiety. So here is a gender dynamics. So here I have taken Aarti's characterizations. Here limited agency. So career trajectory is Aarti's dream is she want to become air hosted. So in aviation's academy and hostel guest relations, each step a compromise or scaling down of ambitions. Parents marriage pressure on artists, enough education and time to marry. So defined relationally, DM's daughter, Raghav's girlfriend, and potential MLS wife. So here we can say moments of strength, chooses love over money, and the Raghav over Gopal initially. So pursues career despite family pressures, makes independent sexually choices through with guilt. So final choice of Raghav over wealthier Gopal shows value over material gain. So refuses to lie to Raghav about infidelity, maintain some integrity. And the contradictions is a strong personality but constrained by societal expectations, educated and working but still need fathers and husbands approval, makes choice but feels guilty about them, and independent yet dependent. So here problematic gender elements. So first we see in a male gaze dominance. Here in infography, so objectification and male gaze, beauty as the primary metric of worth. Aarti is constantly defined by her physical attractiveness and status is most beautiful in this slide. Male gaze dominance physical description emphasize the disability and her worth often tied to appearance. So another, the woman as a narrative prize. So central love triangle positions Aarti as a passive object of competition between men. So here is Gopal and Raghav's rivalry central to narrative. Artist's own journey is secondary to male competitions. Another is secondary characters is artist's personal developments is silence to focus on the reverie of male leads. And social double standard and erasure. So double standard in sexuality. Artist faces intense moral guilt for infidelity, while male sexual behavior is treated differently. And lack of professional role models. Female characters are restricted to traditional roles, coming real or commodified background figures. So identity through marriage. So in the resolutions abundance artist's professional ambitions, defining her identity solely through her husband. So here my learning outcome through the symbols I learned that success without honesty is meaningless, and money or status cannot give us peace if they are achieved through a wrong mean. So here is a Mercedes car status related, and I learned that exam result do not decide a person's worth, and failure in exam does not mean a failure in life. So in the quota I learned that a small dishonest act can lead to big corruption, as cheating, lying, or staying silent slowly destroy moral values. In the cake stealing by Gopal, so I learned that true love is based on care, respect, understanding, not money, guilt, or control. In the character of in the gender Aarti, so I learned that women should be treated as equal human beings, not as a prize. And their dreams and ambition deserve respect. In the both Gopal and Raghav won the Aarti. I learned that a woman's education and career are as important as a man's, and should not be sacrificed due to social pressure. I learned that parental pressure can seriously harm mental health, even when parents believe they are acting for the child's good. And I learned that children should be allowed to choose their own career and life path according to their interest and ability. So this is from my side. For further information, I would like to invite Srushti.
So, thank you, Nikita. Now, I would like to present infographics and then critical reviews. So, here first infographic is about a visual summary of the novel plot and character themes and narrative structure. And another one is the struggle of both Gopal and Raghav, then their transformation. So, in a critical reception and review, so we can see that how Revolution 2020 and Chetan Bhagat's writing have been received by other academians and critics and readers. It shows that both appreciation and criticism. So these help us to understand how novels position between popular and serious literature. So first one is positive critical reception. So some well-known critics have praised Chetan Bhagat's writing and his popularity and his influence, but Shashi Tharoor has called Chetan Bhagat as a phenomenon, and because he connects strongly with young Indians and especially those who are usually outside elite class and literary circles. And the realism in the novel reflects that how young people think and behave in the contemporary time. So the high number of copies sold in a short time and also shows his wide readership. And then next is a reader appeal. So readers like novel because the characters we can feel real and familiar, and their situation put in a novel as it is a daily life, and language is simple, which is we can easily understand, and the past pace of story means short story or less paper book, less papered novel keeps reader engaged, and it I have already mentioned that it focuses on youth relationship and social problems, make it more relatable to the contemporary society. And next is critical evaluation. So some critics have mixed responses, like Pritish Nandi compared Bhagat to the Salman Khan of Indian fiction. So it means that he is extremely popular, but not always considered as a serious literary writer. So while his storytelling is appreciated, critics felt that his writing still lacks depth, and there is also criticism of how books are marketed like a commercial production. And then academic perspective. So from an academic point of view, the novel is useful for literary studies, and it can be analyzed using narratology because of its framing structure and flashback and one-sided point of view. And one-sided narrative invites critical approaches like deconstruction, and these different techniques makes the novel suitable for classroom and research discussion. And let's talk about film adaptation. So there is no film adaptation of this novel yet. So unlike Bhagat's other novel, 5 Point Someone and Two States, which is that Three Idiots and other movies, so this novel remains unadapted, and the novel poses thematic and structural challenges for mainstream cinema. So the story uses a complex narrative structure with a flashback and framing device, which can confuse a film audience, and the themes like corruption, moral compromise, and political betrayal. So the main character Gopal is more morally unclear, and we can not consider him as a fully hero or a fully villain. So and political criticism and the unhappy ending further reduces its suitability for commercial cinema. And despite these all challenges, the novel has a strong cinematic elements, the emotional love triangle and dramatic conflict, and powerful settings like Varanasi and Kota could look visually impressive on a screen. And next is conflict with Bollywood formula. So mainstream Bollywood films usually prefer clear house heroes and more clarity and happy endings. Now in a contemporary time, we only wants to see movies which ends happily and there is one resolution. And so in Revolution 2020, the protagonist, which is Gopal, he does not win in the end, and his moral ambiguity is still unresolved, and political criticism is a more stronger element in this novel. So this clash with commercial expectation explains that why novel has not yet been adapted into film. So this is my learning outcome. Examine the challenge involved in adapting politically sensitive and morally ambiguous literary text into film, and recognize the tension between literary complexity and commercial expectation in Indian publishing and cinema. And exists why certain narratives, despite strong popular appeal, resist mainstream cinematic adaptation and I can develop a critical understanding of youth, corruption, and moral compromise in a contemporary Indian society. So, this is from my side. Now, I would like to invite Rosmin.
Hello everyone, myself Rosmin. Today I will dealing with writing style and language. Um, uh, these are a key characteristic of Chetan Bhagat. So the Bhagat use a easy, simple vocabulary for a non-literary and a first-time English readers. Shorter sentence make the novel fast and easy to read. Conversation tone, they use a sound like everyday speech. For example, my English is not that great, and show the Indian English reflect the natural Indian way of speaking English. Minimum descriptions, so more focus on the dialogues and the action than long descriptions. This is this is these are two type of the Chetan Bhagat style, like anatomy of his systems and the population and a purpose of and impact. So narrative techniques, they use the first person narratives create a imitacy and the emotional immediacy. They use a digital form. They show in they novels show a Gmail chat and SMS in today's time reproduce the realistically. The internal debate Mr. Gopal versus the Mr. Pessimist Gopal relieves the moral conflict. Humor ambience, serious the themes, software corruptions, and the moral crisis. Purpose of this style to democratize the English literature in India, to speech readers who usually avoid a literary fiction, to make a reading a simple, friendly, and a non-limitation. So in a sushi so the Shoshi terror to judge say that to judge a Bhagat by Bhagat by the yard trips of the qualities rather than the effectiveness of his process is not miss what he is trying to do. These are a comparison of popular versus literary fictions. So the popular fictions in a Revolution 2020 philosophy, they use the philosophy of the optimist individually can make a positive difference. Purpose of these to internet readers rather than challenge them intellectually. They use easy language, simple and a clear narration. Ordinary people find real life problems in his novel. Life is difficult. They give a message to life is difficult, but a success and hope are possible. In other side, literary fictions show the philosophy of an pessimist, including influenced by the Marx and the others to the challenge to the show the challenge education and intellectual engaging readers to accessibility to require effort interpret and the close reading focus on language symbolism complicity and the unpredictabilities. Success in this style, success is measures the maintained throughout the critical review and reward. So this is the exactly what Chetan Bhagat is doing. You could well couldn't you could well could conclude that he is describe the literature as we know it over you could simple sit back and have a fun. So setting as a characters in this novel, we see two setting, Varanasi and the Kota. Varanasi, the city as city of the traditions and the contradictions, and the quota, the factory of the dreams and the despair. So, the Varanasi symbolized the ancient city, represent the tradition and the spirituality. Holy city paradoxically marked by corruptions. Gates symbolize the cleansing, and yet the river remained the polluted immediately during the scared versus profess. So the Gopal perspective, I come from Varanasi. Some call it is beautiful, holy and spiritual. May call it a faithfully and a dumb. I don't think my city is dirty. It is the people who make it dirty. So the Varanasi reflect the moral daisy beneath a spiritual grandeur. So the quota symbolized the factory for producing engineering, a speech of dreams, descriptions, and the discipline. Students include student suicide, relevance, a psychological cost. So the functions of the represent the broken education system, where a merit struggle against the numbers and a compassion makes the beginning of the Gopal's moral transformation. Gopal also said that quota is what get used to the weathers. It is a horrible outside. That is why it is a good place to stay inside and study. The ending, ambiguity, and hope. In this novel ending with a revolutions that a Gopal sacrifice help Raghav get Arti's back, and the choice what's right over what he want remain all alone but morally redeems. Raghav's success, marry Arti, become a MLA candidate, can potentially bring a change, and the final meeting of the Gopal hospitalized after a drinking tell his story to Chetan Bhagat's incorrect Arti at hotel. Chetan's validated you are a good person. So ambiguous elements. So the in the end of the novel, some of the questions in our minds like will Gopal truly reform a Gangatich college, and can Raghav actually bring a revolution? Well, India changed by 2020. We know it is not. It didn't. Has Gopal really changed or judge adapted? So symbolizing the ending is Gopal see Raghav's elective elections posters acknowledge the Raghav will be better MLA, accept his role business, not a politics, choice a business over a politics, suggest peace with his choice and with a quiet acceptance and the moral place. So the novel end with a hope but not a certainty, highlighting the limits of individual change in a corrupt system. This is my learning outcome, that I realized that simple story can relevance the serious rather about the society better than a difficult language. I felt how a young people's dreams are shaped and sometimes broken by a system like education, power, and ambiguity. I understand that choosing what is right can be painful, as a Gopal sacrifice show that honesty offer a lead to personal loss. I show that a Kota and Varanasi are more than a place. They create a fear, hope, and confusions in the people's life. I learned that education systems offer a values money and influence more than a talent and hard works. I realized that hope in the novel is weak and uncertain, and real change happen very slowly. I understand the ending as a quiet and thoughtful, not a big victory, which question the idea of a true revolution. I learned that a personal honesty is important, but it is limited when the whole system is corrupt. The novel made me question my own goals, choice, and moral responsibility. Overall, the story helped me to understand how a personal decision are closely connected to social problems, making the novel emotional and social, meaningful. So this is my side. I would like to invite Rupti.
Uh, Thank you, Rosmin. So now, in continuation with this presentation, firstly, I'll deal with social commentary. So, coaching culture, commercialization, and class inequality. So, in this quote by this character Gopal, that this complex vortex of taste, classes, selections, and preparation is something every insignificant Indian student like me has to go through to have a shot at a decent life. So for the decent life, they will have to go through all this vortex of taste, classes, and selections, and all these things. So here a systematic town identity. So coaching ghetto. So it's Kota, Rajasthan. So Kota is portrayed as a coaching ghetto. We have discussed this word ghetto, like it is a separate place given for the marginalized or discriminated people, like Jews, Jewish people. Where the entire town, auto drivers like even Shankar, and watchmen like Birju understand the entrance exam hierarchy, like they interact with this Gopal, like which institution hierarchy falls into this hierarchy or that. So then academic vortex, like this vortex of taste, classes, selections, and preparations, this all presented as a only route to decent life. So only these things, through only this thing, they imagine their decent life. So this shows how they are in loop with these all things. So another quote, that if you have more than 85% aggregate in your class 12th, or if you have an AI triple E rank up to 40,000, then only you will get a 30% discount in that case, and you'll apply for a full rate program. Like other who get less, they are not able to get this 30% discount. So this shows the inequality. So obsession with performance, like these public spaces are filled with too many coaching classes, hoardings, and this all walls covered with stamp size pictures of successful JE candidates, and constantly reminding students of success, failure, and the comparison atmosphere. Then another point is commercialization of learning. Even education is commercialized, like it functions as a systemized fraud and loot. So with institution charging thousands bunks for an application form only. So this and marketing tuitions as the best investment you'll make in your life. So by choosing the particular institute for your further study, you have made the best decision in your life. And then performance based class system, like despite uniforms, uniform means equality for all, but here it shows the rigid hierarchy exists, and Gopal feels like that also. Then comes parental pressure, economic burden, and mental health crisis. So economic inequality in living conditions, like student budgets dictate their dignity. Like here Gopal only get the room of 2000s without this windows, and because of his this budget problems. And then institutional stratification, like faculty also classify students as high potential and forcing lower rank students like Gopal also. Then parental pressure and financial stakes. So middle class family face severe strain for such a thing, like Gopal's father sells jewelry and 40,000 rupees and fixed deposit, believing and engineering rank only can secure the life of Gopal and can do better condition of their family. So a parental deflection, Birju, this guard also observes that tells to the Gopal, like some parents sends their children to get out for the year of responsibility from them also, and then mental health and crisis and suicide. Gopal has to use these Gmail IDs and cyber cafes for talk of for the talk, and then also the tragedy of Manoj Datta, who had done a suicide, where this Gopal has taken room as a rent. And then another point is quota experience, a closer look, like arrival of Gopal, accommodation and entry into the academic vortex. So arrival into this coaching ghetto, like through Dwarka Express, express through this 23 hours of journey, and too many telecoms and underwears and coaching class hoardings, all advertisements were there in that urban city. So exam centered economy and social classification. Locals, like the auto drivers and watchmen, are also deeply aware of the institutional hierarchy, and they will ask that you are first timers or a repeater for these exams. So in that way they will do hierarchy between the students coming for preparation. Then accommodation at Gayatri Society, as discussed previously, that Gopal finds his housing within only 2,000 rupees, where one of the student has already done suicide there. Then room's dark history, as discussed, and the best investment you will make in your life, regarding this quota. Then entry into academic vortex, then institutional structure and hierarchy, as we have discussed this earlier also. Then emotional isolation and relationship and final tragedy. So psychological stagnation and wasted time, like Gopal in his afternoons comparing these brochures and shredding toppers photos, and in frustration, like quota life is a miserable slogging match with no purpose of growth. It shows his stagnation or their quota, then loneliness, failure, social humiliation, cut off from the home, and these all things feels him deeply. Then the Aarti Raghav dynamic also. So communication is restricted through STD booths and limited phone calls, and they use this Gmail ID to talk also. Parental pressure and financial stakes, like Gopal's father has sent all these jewelries and rupees for his studies, for the rank. Then failure, confrontation and death. So though he improves his rank, but then also Gopal is branded as a failure. So his father slaps him, and then after some time his father also dies. Then aftermath and emotional collapse. Gopal is left orphan and chased by loan sharks of his father's funeral. And contemporary relevance, satire and present India. So how we can connect with this contemporary time also. Commercial education, as quota is portrayed as a coaching ghetto, which mirrors today's exam-driven economy, where coaching centers application fees. Private colleges operate like a profit-oriented marketplace rather than a public services. Like on paper, data is different from the whatever shown to the government. Institutional corruption, as we have discussed. Then political privilege like MLA Shukla's immunity and luxurious jail life echo contemporary perception of political leaders. Then religious and cultural irony also we find that how Varanasi, the context of Varanasi also comes like polluted rivers and commercial bars and funeral tourism remains relevant amid database on only heritage, pollution and religious commodification. Then comes commodified revolution like Revolution 2020 satirizes how activism coexists with consumerism, much like today's media culture where decent reform and branding often overlap. Then youth aspirations like the narrow focus on jobs, marriage, English as a tool for upward mobility. This all continue define middle class ambitions reflect persistent social and economic pressure in the middle class. This infographic shows all these things. Then I have taken some of the example which shows the recent contemporary relevance also of these frauds and the scam in colleges also. And Supreme Court courts warns this Rajasthan government for suicidal case of in quota. So my learning outcomes here that I learned that education when driven only by competition profit can quietly strip students of dignity, individuality and emotional security. Then I also realized that success and failure in academic system may often shaped by structure and privilege than by effort alone. Then I understood that constant comparison and performance pressure can normalize stress, self-doubt and silence around mental health. Then I also became aware that parental expectation, even when they well intention, can also become heavy emotional and financial burden for the students. Then isolation and lack of emotional support can also be as damaging as academic failure itself. And the system often upward compliance rather than critical thinking, making students feel replaceable and powerless. And corruption and privileges do not operate at only at margins but deeply woven into our everyday institutional functioning. And ideals like education, spirituality and even revolution can lose their meaning when absorbed by this market logic. Then I came to see that youth aspirations are frequently narrowed by social pressure, leaving little space for alternative paths or definition of success. And I have appreciated that literature like Revolution 2020 matters because it helps us recognize uncomfortable truth about society rather than offering idealized solutions. So this was from my side. For further information, I would like to invite Shruti Sonani. Thank you.
Thank you, Trupti. Class analysis we have already discussed earlier, so I jump on one main point that Gopal's stolen that cake. So that is the main point we can find, that how childhood this stolen cake become a most important situation like corruption. So that is the beginning of his corruption. So that is the here main point we can find. So here also that are you a thief? Say, that the question that radicalized Gopal's ambition. Then the Ganga Action Plan scam. So in this, the Ganga Action Plan aimed to clean the river through multi-crore sewage treatment project, but failed due to corruption. So that is the main point also we can find in today's time also. So here in the novel, the Dimanpura plant scam shows that 25 crores rupees sanctioned with 20 crores embellished by MLA Shukla and via his family firm. So that is the main that problem here find in this also and contemporary times also. So that is the relevant we can find. And Raghav's 2-month investigation gathered financial records and photographs over ownership documents and GPS data and manufactured denials. And the exposure forced the CM to remove Shukla and led to his imprisonment and strengthened Revolution 2020's political credibility. So symbolically, the scam reflects the pollution of a holy river and the theft of public funds and a system that protects the powerful until truth surfaces. Then here you can find that the both sides, the reality and the image. So that is the reality we can find in the current situation, that how this Ganga river looks like, and how they before after they became this Ganga Tech, and also all the things by the corruption. And then it like Gopal transformed into director sir, and he gains air conditioned office, simulated wood furniture and fine whiskey, but loses his moral center. So it's not look like a successful person. Then Bhagat's impact on Indian publishing, that Chetan Bhagat's popularity led to major transformation in Indian English publishing, that popularly terms the Bhagat phenomenon. And he proved that English popular fiction could be commercially viable in India, and especially beyond elite metropolitan readers. And here Bhagat's success inspired a wave of similar mass market Indian English writers and altered publisher expectation. Here also we can find that how Bhagat attracts youth, that he write attractive like youth centered. So that is the main point here we can find. And as a Shashi Tharoor notes, in a market long considered commercially limited, Bhagat's novels achieved exceptional sales and redefining the economic of Indian English fiction. And here I have chosen some of the quotes from the novel. So first is that power is not an apple that falls from a tree into your lap. Power has to be snatched from people who already have it. So core philosophy of Revolution 2020, we can find that change won't happen through patience or compromise. Raghav embodies this by exposing MLA Shukla despite risk, and it questions that is revolution possible, and does it require violence, or can individuals truly snatch power? So second is that we, like millions of other students, are the loser in the great Indian education race. So it's by Gopal Mishra, that humanizes the statistics that shows psychological damage of rejection, and it explains that why private colleges thrive, they catch losers, foreshadows Gopal's path. If system rejects you, exploit the system. Vinit later says Sam about that your own kind. And here third one and last, that it's not easy being a girl. We feel guilty about everything, and it's said by Aarti Pradhan. And it's a female socialized critique, that gender guilt, women punished for desire and choices, that they want to become a air hostess but they can't. But and here we can find that Aarti guilt for work, not marrying, having affair, neglecting Raghav and considering Gopal. So we can see it as a thematic significance. So feminist commentary on double standards, and men like Gopal and Raghav act on desire without same guilt, and Aarti trapped between duty, that marry with Raghav, and desire attracted to Gopal, and self wants career. And novel doesn't fully explore this but acknowledge gendered experience also. And here last we can find that defining the revolution, that Raghav's revolution is a public, loud, systemic change and fighting the road with sunlight. And Gopal's revolution, that private, silent, internal changes and sacrificing personal happiness for the greater good.
that they want to success immediately. So that is the problematic here we can find in this, that the novel struggles that in a broken system, and the only true revolution is a preservation of individual dependency. And my learning outcomes, that sometimes life isn't, it's a quote from the novel, that sometimes life isn't about what you want to do, but what you ought to do. So these quotes will guide me when facing difficulties, choice, that what I ought to do isn't determined by profit or others' approval, but by my values, and by who I want to be, and by what serves not just me but the broader good. And life is a series of choices between what's easy and what's right, between who I want to be and who circumstances pressure me to become. And every character showed me different possibilities, like that Gopal cautionary tells of compromise leading to hollow success, and that Gopal made a mistake which we don't made in our life. So that is the main. And Rakhav's example of principal struggle creating meaningful life, and Aarti's navigation of constraints while seeking agency. So Revolution 2020 reminded me that my life is still being written, that the mistake I make don't have to define my entire story, but every day offers a new choices to align closer with the person I want to become. And the real revolution isn't political, it's a personal, and it's the daily decision to choose integrity over convenience, and compassion over competition, and purpose over profit, and authentic living over others' expectations. So that is from my side. And the last one, conclusion, that Revolution 2020 represent a powerful critique of contemporary Indian society by intervening personal ambition, romantic conflict, and systematic corruption. The main point here we can find the corruption and ambition and love triangle. So through Gopal's morally compromised rise and Raghav's principal struggle, the novel exposes that how education, politics and media have become entangled in a profit-driven corruption. So the revolution promised by the title is not fully political, it is ethical and eternal. So that is the from my side. These are the references, and thank you. If you have any question, please ask.